Hey gamers, and welcome to the board meeting. I'm going to talk to you today about a very popular board game mechanic and one of my favorite, and that is worker placement. And I'll be talking about that using a very good game and very simple example of worker placement, and that's Lords of Waterdeep. I don't have the game board really set up, but all we need to see or talk about is this main game board and these spots that are shown. So what is worker placement? Worker placement in its simplest form is you get a group of meeples that are your workforce, and on your turn you will send them out to spots on the game board and receive whatever reward that spot grants you. Then that spot will be blocked off to all players for the rest of the round or till whenever the game board resets. Now here you see that there are several spots to place your workers at the beginning of the game, and beside those spots lists whatever reward you will receive for going there. In Lords of Waterdeep, your main source of getting points is by completing quest cards, and you complete those quest cards by obtaining these cubes you receive from a lot of these spots. So let's go through what a few turns might look like. Let's say the green player, he's first player, and he gets the choice of any of these spots. He'd go to the Field of Triumph and get 2 gold cubes. Now it would be the red player's turn, and they can't go to the sweet, sweet Fields of Triumph anymore. So let's say they'd go to this spot and obtain their 2 black cubes. Now the blue player would go as well, and they'd take theirs. And that is the basics of worker placement. Let's talk about some subgenres of worker placement now, though, and go to dice placement. Here we have a game that is substantially more complex than Lords of Waterdeep, and this is Circadian's First Light. And it is what is considered a dice placement game. In dice placement, you will have a group of dice instead of meeples. Most dice placement games will have you roll a group of dice, and those dice are your workers for this round. The numbers you roll on these dice will then determine which actions on the board that you're allowed to take. Again, I don't have the game fully set up or anything, but the main thing is just to show you some of these spots and how these dice will be working. So let's just show you a few of these examples. Let's say it is our turn, and we could take one of these dice, and we could go to the control room and set it here. And you see here, this will control our harvester over here, and which dice we put on here will determine which direction that harvester will move. So we put a 4, and it will go to the southwest. So we'd move our harvester to the southwest. We could take, say, R5 and put it up here and put it into the foundry and get an upgrade. And you can see which number dice you put, it determines which of these upgrade tiles we can take. We put the 5, so we could take this upgrade tile and put it into our base. Over here in the laboratory, you need 2 dice of equal value. So you're going to place 2 of the same dice. So I could put both of these ones, and now we would have the choice of any of these 3 tiles for us to take. So you get the general idea of what most dice placement games are like. Let's switch over to another subgenre of worker placement I call special worker placement. Here we have the game The Manhattan Project, which uses specialty workers, which means that the workers that you put out are actually specialized to do specific actions. In the Manhattan Project, you have 3 different types of workers. You have your laborers, your engineers, and your scientists. I won't spend long on this one, but just to show you, some of these spots actually show an engineer or scientists and engineers, which means you will actually have to send those specialized workers to those spots to do those actions instead of your regular laborers, which is basically all you need to know about specialized workers. And that is Gamesplaining the basics of worker placement along with some of the subgenres. Thanks for watching and take care.